Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Kiba. Dressed as Naruto, girlfriend turns out to be Sasuke. Li Hao never dreamed that he could cross over to Naruto, but since he came to this world, everything needs to be in his own hands. Subsequently, relying on strong spiritual power and creativity, a large number of S.level ninjutsus were developed. But soon Li Hao realized something was wrong. Why is Yuji Bozosuke a female, has special feelings for herself, and has become a good sisters with Rishiang Daida? Why is Uchiha Itachi also a female and a special girl control? Uchiha Sasuke. There are only two thoughts in this life, one is to make Uchiha Itachi atone, and the other is to marry Naruto. Uchiha Itachi. That's great, there's a good reason, but the way you want me to make amends is to have 100 children. With the passage of time, the people of the ninja world discovered that the strength of Kiba was unprecedentedly strong. 9 Tails, World Nuclear Peace. If the world of tolerance is in chaos, do you have the final say? Yuji Boban. I never dreamed that I could not defeat a couple. Daitsuki Kagaya. You guys have enough. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Is Uchiha Sasuke Naruto a female? You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, in the village of Konoha ninjas, Naruto Vortex was sitting on his bed with a confused expression on his face. What an unfamiliar environment. Naruto looked around with a puzzled expression, realizing that his current location was not in his original room. Slowly stepping out of bed, standing in front of the mirror to take a look, then falling into contemplation. Did I become Naruto Vortex through time travel? Naruto, to be precise, murmured Li Hao to himself. He was originally a young man in his 20s from Blue Star, but he didn't expect to travel across the country just by adding a class. Since you have come, let's settle down. Li Hao let out a bitter smile. Since you have become Naruto Vortex today, let the old Li Hao disappear completely. To revive a lifetime, one must achieve enough excitement. In the future, he will be Naruto Vortex. At this moment, Naruto's head suddenly felt a piercing pain, which made him extremely painful. At this moment, a large amount of memory flooded into my mind, this is the memory from before. I see. Naruto Vortex, who had accepted most of his memories, understood the current time, which was 63 years ago for Kiba, so did he graduate this year. But these more than 10 years of life have been too difficult. Drinking expired milk and hot food are mostly instant noodles. And vegetables and the like can only be picked up in the dark when others don't want rotten vegetable leaves, after all, buying them directly won't sell them to others. Oh, is this the treatment of the son of a hero? Naruto Vortex's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. Third Hokage, although you have always pretended to be a kind old man and come to see yourself from time to time. But if it weren't for your tacit consent, how could the people of Kiba dare to do this to themselves? He even suspected that the other party was half of the reason why he had such an experience. The other half is probably from Jitsuan Tuan-san. It's okay, 2 old people. Sooner or later, they'll kill you. However, the top priority is to go to school first, and the graduation exam will be in a while. At that time, I will have to take the opportunity to master the sealing technique. This time, I not only need to learn the technique of shadow clone, but also other forbidden techniques. Just think of it and do it. After tidying up in the bathroom, put on your clothes and run towards the school. On the road, he could clearly feel the disgusted gaze from the villagers around him, which made him very unhappy. I don't know how the former Naruto Vortex endured such a damn gaze. Although these ignorant people are just being deceived by others, treating a child like this may not be a good person. After arriving at the school gate, Naruto Vortex saw an unexpected figure. Hinata. Ming. Naruto. Hinata looked shyly at the swirling Naruto, as if she was about to faint with just one more word. This made Naruto Vortex feel a burst of laughter, and the little girl still looked like that. Talking to oneself with a nervous expression. Thinking of this, Naruto Vortex decided to tease her. So he approached Hinata and said, "Hinata, what's wrong with you? You're stumbling and talking, and your face looks so red." As he spoke, he extended his hand and placed it on the other person's forehead, stimulating Hinata to smoke. With a flick of his eye, he fell directly to the ground. Naruto Vortex. Watching Hinata fainting on the ground, Naruto Vortex fell into contemplation. Did you go too far with what you did yourself? But I didn't do anything, just reached out and touched the other person's forehead, and then fainted. At this moment, a cold voice sounded beside Naruto Vortex, saying, "What are you doing?" "I didn't do anything," said Naruto Vortex subconsciously, thinking it was his classmate. He then turned his head to look at the other person and became dumbfounded. Clothes with the Uchiha clan emblem. Didn't the Uchiha clan only survive with one Uchiha Sasuke? Why is there a girl? Can it be said that the guy Uchiha Itachi had some compassion, so he planned to leave a member of his clan for Uchiha Sasuke to get married? Used for preserve the purity of the bloodline of the Uchiha clan. When it comes to receiving memories, there may not be any omissions. What didn't you do? Uchiha Sasako said angrily, "What didn't you do? The Hinata will just fall to the ground. Maybe this guy did something to Hinata again. This fool, don't you know that Hinata would be shy? Well, if this fool could see it, he probably wouldn't have anything to do with himself." Thinking of this, Uchiha Sasako walked forward with a displeased expression and picked up Hinata. He then gave Naruto Vortex a fierce glare and said, "I tell you, you can't bully Hinata, you know, otherwise I'll beat you up." After finishing speaking, he lifted his left foot and lifted Naruto's leg, saying, "Don't look, you'll be late later." Then, ignoring the stunned Huang Mao, he turned around and walked towards the classroom. As he walked, he muttered softly, "This guy is really going too far. Isn't it enough to have me?" After speaking, he was still afraid that Naruto Vortex would hear his voice. He carefully turned around and only breathed a sigh of relief after realizing that Naruto Vortex was not paying attention to the situation here. Later on, I felt a bit uncomfortable again. Didn't this guy know to follow up? And standing behind, Naruto Vortex suddenly had a stunning idea in his mind, which was the goods just now probably weren't Uchiha Sasuke. Did the only survivor of the Uchiha clan actually become a woman? No. Naruto Vortex shook his head. The world shouldn't be so crazy. But whether it's true or not will be known later. Irika teachers usually ask questions about geniuses like the Uchiha clan, so naturally they can know their names. Thinking of this, Naruto Vortex quickly chased forward. The new book set sail, with endless coding. If you like this book, please submit some data to the author. Thank you, Yenzu. Chapter 2. It's really a woman, this world is too crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The classmates looked at Uchiha Sasako as he placed Hinata in his seat, showing a puzzled expression. They were puzzled, why would Hinata look like this? "Sasako, what's wrong with Hinata?" Ino looked at Uchiha Sasuke with a puzzled expression. How could Hinata still be brought in by the other party? "I've been stimulated," Yuji Pozo frowned. Upon hearing this, Inoue was momentarily stunned, then showed a smile that I understood and said, "That's it." It seems that the other party mostly met Naruto at the door. Thinking of this, Inoue's gaze towards Uchiha Sasako revealed a complex expression. She knows about Uchiha Sasako's love for Naruto, and Hinata seems to mean the same thing. But unfortunately, the families of these two people still have some disagreements with each other, and they are still rivals in love, but they have become the best girlfriends. This world is too complex. If it weren't for one of them being the last survivors of the family and the other being the eldest princess of the family, both families would probably have fought over this kind of thing. Women are really troublesome. Lumaru, who was not far away, showed a speechless expression and then looked at Naruto with a pitiful gaze as he walked in from the door. I guess this kid's life will be even more difficult in the future. The idea of not provoking girls is indeed correct. I am truly a genius. Everyone is here. Naruto Vortex instinctively let out a silly smile and then returned to his seat. But in the memory he received, there was no memory that belonged to his actions. Damn it, why is this still lacking in weight? Can't you give all your memories to yourself at once? After settling down in Hinata, Uchiha Sasako returned to his own actions and frowned when he saw Naruto Vortex still standing at the door. Subconsciously, he tapped the position next to him with his hand. Naruto Vortex immediately understood that the other party had called him over. After arriving at his seat, Naruto Vortex finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he found his spot, otherwise it would have been easier to expose. What's wrong with you today? Uchiha Sasako looked at Naruto Vortex strangely. How did she feel that Naruto today was strange? It's nothing. Naruto Vortex shook his head and subconsciously smiled, saying, maybe he hasn't woken up yet. Uchiha Sasako nodded, not suspecting anything. It was still the familiar Naruto. At this moment, Iruka walked in from outside and placed his textbook on the table, saying, classmates, you still have half a month left for your graduation exam, so you need to quickly connect with the ninjutsu you have learned. Is it so fast? Teacher Iruka, are we about to become ninjas? Ha, I will definitely become a very powerful ninja, and then the position of Hokage will be mine. That's not necessarily true. The location of the fire shadow may belong to me. Listening to the words of the group around him, a hint of disdain flashed in Uchiha's eyes. Just because these people want to become Hokage. Oh, the future of Hokage must belong to Naruto. And I will definitely kill that damn woman myself. Thinking of that woman, there was a hint of gloom in Uchiha Sasako's eyes, but she quickly hid it because she didn't want Naruto to see her negative side. Looking at the energetic scene of the students, Iruka showed a satisfied smile and said, that's right, as long as you graduate successfully, you can become a ninja. Afterwards, under the leadership of the captain, execute the task in the form of a small team. At the end, Iruka's eyes showed a hint of emotion. These children are about to become ninjas, but now is not the time for the ninja world war, and everyone's survival rate is still very high. I hope they can all graduate smoothly, but even if they don't graduate, they can still secure a good position in Kiba. Alright, let's start with today's first lesson. Iruka skillfully took out the book about the will of fire and said, although we have learned it many times, we still need to review more and keep this will firmly in our hearts. Wherever there are leaves dancing, there will be a fire burning. The shadow of the fire shines on the village, and then new leaves will sprout again. This is. Listening to the slow conversation of teacher Iruka on the podium, Naruto Vortex felt a hint of disdain in his heart. What nonsense is the will of fire? That old guy from the third generation Hokage didn't even implement the will of fire to the end, okay. During the second and third ninja wars, what was his third generation Hokage of Konoha doing? I have been living in the village all along, but let others go to battle first, claiming that this is to coordinate the overall situation. Damn it, what is needed on the battlefield is strength, real strength. Otherwise, the shadows of other villages wouldn't have personally gone to the battlefield. If he had been willing to personally go to the battlefield back then, perhaps he could have completely subdued a certain village, or even subdued it. Unfortunately, he didn't. Since becoming a shadow, he has lost his former pride. Feeling bored, Naruto Vortex instinctively glanced at the girl from the Uchiha clan beside him and found that the other person's eyes seemed to have the same emotions as himself. However, when I looked at it myself, it was well hidden by the other party. What's wrong? Uchiha Sasako asked softly. It's nothing. Naruto Vortex shook his head, but said in his heart, it seems that this girl from the Uchiha clan has similar thoughts to himself. However, it is also true that the family has been destroyed, and what kind of identification does she expect from this village? Even in her consciousness, it was Uchiha Itachi who destroyed the Uchiha clan. No, why hasn't Uchiha Sasuke come to class? Is this person around me really Uchiha Sasuke? At this moment, Irika called out Uchiha Soko's name and asked her to get up and answer the question. And Uchiha Sasako skillfully answered the questions, but this scene directly shocked Naruto Vortex. He didn't expect this Uchiha Sasuke to be the so-called Uchiha Sasuke. Swazi. Well, I'm here. Naruto Vortex. What to do? Uchiha Sasuke has become a girl, waiting online, quite urgent. Chapter 3. What to do if a wealthy woman catches her eye, online. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The morning class passed quickly, and in the afternoon, we welcomed our daily extracurricular classes. Classmates, cherish these days' time. Irika, standing outside, looked melancholic as everyone's time together was running out. Immediately, I asked my classmates to bring their swords over and let them practice their throwing techniques freely. Let's go. Yuji Bazozi clapped his hands and said, let me see how your sword practice is going. Naruto Vortex. Is there anything else about this? However, in order not to be discovered, Naruto Vortex could only nod and say, okay. Then, under the gaze of others, the two of them arrived at an open space. They have such a good relationship. Oh, it's normal for the orphans of the Uchiha clan to have a good relationship with the demon fox. Shoo, be careful not to be heard by them. Irika, who was not far away, felt a bit complicated upon hearing this, but after so many years, he had already emerged from the shadows of the past. Now, he only regards Naruto as his younger brother. With this in mind, Irika spoke up and said, Naruto and Sasako are your classmates, not anything else. Don't talk nonsense. Those talkative classmates pursed their lips upon hearing the words, but still chose to close their mouths. Naruto Vortex frowned. As classmates, could they even say such things? However, what pleased him was that Irika was still the big brother who treated him well. Uchiha Sasako, on the other hand, was very indifferent. They said they were okay, but they even said Naruto, it's okay, let's go. Naruto grabbed Seiko who wanted to do something and said, I'm used to it. As soon as these words were spoken, Seiko's heart twitched. Unexpectedly, Naruto then he nodded and said, okay. Since Naruto has said so, let's not take action for now. Wait for a chance to beat them up hard. Upon arriving at the open space, Seiko handed Naruto a sword in his hand and said, come on, give it a try. Naruto looked at the sword in his hand and twitched the corners of his mouth. Isn't this the way to put ducks on the shelf? He doesn't even know any Uchiha throwing skills. But now we can only grit our teeth. Following the throwing technique he had learned in class, Naruto directly threw the sword in his hand. Whoosh when. Without any surprise, the sword in hand hit another wooden rake with precision. Naruto. Sasuke. As expected, this fool did not learn. Looking at Naruto's awkward expression, Satoko comforted and said, I gave it to you yesterday. It's normal that you didn't learn it, but I just didn't expect you, a fool, to make no progress at all. She didn't say the following sentence, afraid it would hurt Naruto's heart. Although Naruto usually appears carefree, his inner strength is still relatively weak, at least she can tell. She has seen Naruto standing on the street more than once, looking lonely at other family members together. In the past, as a member of the Uchiha clan, she was not allowed to have long-term contact with Naruto Vortex, but now no one can stop her. Actually, I'm not particularly good at this type of weapon. So what are you good at? Sasako looked at Naruto with a pair of big eyes and said, knife. Or a sword. She inherited the inheritance of the Uchiha clan, and she can get any weapon Naruto wants. That's right, she's a rich woman now. Even if a portion of the industry was taken away by Muyi, the money under her name is still very considerable. Of course, the most important thing is that there are still many remnants of the ninjutsu of the Uchiha clan. No, I prefer boxing to meat, Naruto said with a thumbs up. Boxing to meat is the romance of men. Upon hearing this, Sasuke showed a disdainful expression. Sure enough, boys like to fight with their fists. However, she didn't say anything, but after careful consideration, she said, then wait a little longer. I'll go home and see if there are any special body techniques or anything like that. Looking at Satoko's expression, Naruto instinctively asked, why are you treating me so well? It's strange, even if Sasuke becomes Sasako, he shouldn't treat himself so well, right? Has the difficulty lie in the memory that one has lost, and has one done anything to make the other person remember oneself? Humph, I just took care of you for the sake of the two of us being similar. Sasuke instinctively turned his head and raised his head proudly, don't think too much. Naruto. Is she being arrogant? Yeah, it must be. In Satoko's eyes, she thought Naruto didn't understand her meaning, so she immediately felt disappointed. However, on second thought, it could be a good thing or something uncertain. Thinking of this, Satoko once again perked up and then earnestly taught Naruto. This time Naruto also studied very seriously. Although he did not have the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, he could still learn the advanced version of Uchiha clan throwing technique. This made Satoko very pleased, thinking that Naruto was enlightened. By the way, what are you going to have for dinner tonight? Sasuke asked nonchalantly. Instant noodles. Paomian. Sasako frowned and turned his head to look at Naruto seriously. Why eat that kind of non-nutritious food? Her mother once said that that kind of thing is not very nutritious and cannot be eaten all the time, otherwise it is not good for the body. What do I eat if I don't eat instant noodles? Naruto looked at Seiko strangely and said, the allowance I received is only enough to eat these things. This is the truth, the money that the third generation Hokage gave Naruto was not very much. Only enough for him to fill his stomach. The most he can do is to have more money to eat Yao Lamian noodles for several times. Otherwise, he wouldn't occasionally run to the river to catch fish to fill his stomach. This made Seiko's face look a bit ugly. She didn't expect that as an orphan, Naruto's life would be so poor. With this in mind, Sasuke said in an unquestionable tone, I'll go home with you today. She wants to see what kind of life Naruto is really living. Naruto paused for a moment, then nodded and said, okay. Is it because Sasuke has been living too hard? Well, if we could move in with this rich woman, it would be a good thing. At least there's no need to worry about the economy anymore. Did he fall in love with a wealthy woman? Chapter 4. Classic. I am the Hokage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this your home? Sasuke pondered as he looked at the cluttered items inside, as well as the instant noodle boxes placed on the table. How did it get so chaotic? I left in a hurry this morning, so I didn't have time to tidy up. Naruto felt a bit embarrassed, and the room was indeed a bit messy. With this in mind, Naruto pointed to the bed and said, it's still relatively clean on top. Please sit down for a while, and I'll tidy it up first. Sasuke didn't speak, but walked to the side and opened the refrigerator. He took out the milk inside and looked at it. When he saw that the date on it had expired, his face immediately darkened. Expired. Then he adjusted his lower facial expression, turned his head to look at Naruto and said, do you usually drink this? That's right. Naruto, who was tidying up the trash, glanced and said, drink it every day. Do you always have diarrhea on a regular basis? Not really, occasionally. Occasionally. Sasuke's mouth twitched as he drank expired milk and only occasionally had diarrhea. Should I compliment you on your good health? Don't tidy up. Saki grabbed Naruto, who wanted to tidy up the house, and said, you come with me. Where are you going? Go to my house, Swazi said, realizing that his statement was somewhat inappropriate. Then he said, don't think too much, because we are friends and we see how pitiful your life is. That's why he made an exception to let you go to my place. After speaking, Swazi didn't even notice that his face had turned much rosy. Thank you very much, then. Naruto didn't hesitate and turned to the bed, saying, then I'll bring some things. Don't bring it, I have it all over there. And it's not too late now, just buy whatever you need, Swazi said as he glanced at the instant noodles on the table. It's perfect, let me show you my cooking skills. Because she has been living on her own this year, she has also developed a good culinary skills. Of course, most of the time she spends practicing. Okay, I'll wait and see. After casually putting the garbage on the table into the bag, Naruto followed behind him with a smile and left. He doesn't want to live in this rundown place anymore. However, it's really great to have a wealthy woman taking care of me. Later, Sasako took Naruto to the market to buy some ingredients. At this time, she also saw how unpopular Naruto was, which gradually calmed her originally good mood. It seems that it will take a lot of time to heal the pain in Naruto's heart. However, since he can say that he is willing to help himself seek revenge, even if it is to sacrifice his life, I will recognize him in this lifetime. Just as Sasako and Naruto were rushing to the territory of the Uchiha clan, the dark side responsible for protecting and monitoring Naruto quickly sent people to the Hokage building. Lord Hokage, Uchiha Sasako of the Uchiha clan has gone to the Uchiha clan's territory with the nine-tailed man Julie. The third-generation Hokage, who quickly covered the crystal ball with lightning speed, heard this and immediately exclaimed in surprise, Sasako. Why did she bring Naruto back to the former site of the Uchiha clan? I just heard them say that Naruto's living environment and food are too poor, so I thought about taking Naruto to improve his life and also moving him to the Uchiha clan's territory. Upon hearing this, Sandai Huaying did not speak, but lowered her head to contemplate and became angry. Naruto was the one he watched grow up with, and through his actions over the years, he now has a very high level of recognition for himself. It can even be said that he is his own person. But the Sasako of the Uchiha clan is not. If Naruto could hold sake in his hand now, wouldn't he have completely mastered the Uchiha clan? Although only an orphan, if the two of them could have children, the potential of this child would probably not be low. After all, they are descendants of the Whirlpool and Uchiha clans. The most important thing is that this way, the power of the Uchiha clan can be completely integrated into the Hokage clan. Thinking of this, the mood of the three generations of Hokage has been much happier. They are probably friends, and it's normal for friends to stay at each other's homes, said Sandai Huaying, touching her beard with relief. In the future, surveillance should not be too close, don't disturb their lives, go down. Yes. Watching the dark side leave, the mood of the third-generation Hokage was very joyful. Although most of the ninjutsu of the Uchiha clan has been taken away by us, it's hard to guarantee that there won't be any secrets left behind. When the time is right, let's ask Sasako for it. Especially for things that require the bloodline of the Uchiha clan to activate, he is also very tempted. I just don't know how my old buddy is currently researching. Forget it, let's talk about this later. What we need to do now is to collect materials. Thinking of this, the third-generation Hokage quickly removed the cloth covering the crystal ball and was about to launch ninjutsu when the door was opened directly. Ri-Jean, I have heard that people from the Uchiha clan have come into contact with the nine-tailed pillar power. Jitsuan Tuanzang looked at the third-generation Hokage holding his hand on a piece of cloth in confusion and said, "What are you doing?" "It's nothing," said the third Hokage calmly. "What did you say earlier?" "I said that the orphan of the Uchiha clan has come into contact with Julie. I know about this matter." "Do you know you don't care?" Jitsuan Tuanzang said coldly, "Have you forgotten about the time when the Uchiha clan controlled the Nine Tails?" Surprisingly, Ri-Jean is still so naive, allowing people from the Yuzhibo clan to come into contact with the nine-tailed pillar power. Who knows what kind of thoughts she has? There is no good thing in the Uchiha clan. Only the dead Yuzhibo is a good Yuzhibo. If it weren't for her sister threatening her, he would have killed this assistant long ago. Of course I haven't forgotten, said the third-generation Hokage, taking out her dignity and calmly looking at Jitsu and Tuanzang. But don't forget, she's only 12 years old this year. What's wrong with being 12 years old? Evil Uchiha, no matter how old he is, you won't forget that guy Uchiha Itachi. Enough, I am Hokage. Sandai Hokage interrupted Jitsu and Tuanzang's words and said, don't send anyone to keep an eye on Naruto in the future, otherwise don't blame me for being impolite. Upon hearing this, Jitsu and Tuanzang extended his finger to point at the third Hokage, causing his popularity to tremble. This bastard would use his identity to suppress him. You will regret it, Rizhao. After speaking, he shook his sleeves and left. The third-generation Hokage looked disdainfully at the back of Shimura Tuanzang. What does this guy know? I am on the 5th floor. Chapter 5. The Deterrence Power of Qimu Kakashi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this your home? Naruto, standing at the gate of the former site of the Uchiha clan, shuddered a bit, which was far beyond his imagination. Undoubtedly, it is the most powerful family of Kiba. Yes. Zhuzi nodded at the words and said with a complex expression, now, all of this belongs to me. Naruto was stunned for a moment upon hearing this, and immediately understood that the other party had passed away because all their clan members had passed away. Sorry, It's okay. Saki shook his head and then grabbed Naruto's arm, saying, let's go home first. The hatred of her tribe is certainly important, but she cannot always live in hatred. Revenge is necessary, and marrying Naruto is also necessary. Mom, you will also support me, right? After returning home, Satoko asked Naruto to rest in the living room, while she went to the kitchen with ingredients to handle the food. Before long, a fragrance drifted in, and Naruto instinctively sniffed it and said, it smells good. No wonder Zhuzi said his cooking skills are very good, at least in terms of aroma. Here we go. Seiko walked out of the kitchen carrying a dish. Wearing this apron, she put the food in front of Naruto like a little daughter. In-law and smiled, wait for me, there's still a lot left. We're just 2 people, can't we use so much? Naruto glanced in the direction of the kitchen, where there seemed to be many plates. What do you know? Sasako gave Naruto a blank glance. The other person came to her house for the first time, and of course, she should take it seriously. This is the lesson her mother once taught her. This proves that she values other boys. It's okay if Naruto doesn't understand, but she needs to understand. Looking at Satoko, who ignored him and turned around to serve the dishes, Naruto's lips involuntarily curved upwards. This feeling is quite good, isn't it? Soon, a sumptuous dinner was placed on the table, and Sasako waved his hand and said, you must be starving. Let's start eating. Then I'll get started. Picking up the autumn knife fish on the table and tasting it, Naruto's eyes lit up and he said, the taste is good. So it seems that Zhuzi's cooking skills are comprehensive in terms of color, aroma, and taste. That's natural, Zhuziang said, lifting his white chin. Don't even see who I am. She is a proud member of the Uchiha clan, and cooking is not a simple task. She will definitely be a very virtuous wife in the future. Then he lowered his head and looked at Naruto, who was devouring his food. A hint of heartache flashed in Seiko's eyes. He may have eaten this sumptuous dinner for the first time. With this in mind, Saki painfully added a few pieces of meat for Naruto and said, eat more meat, it will help you grow your body. You can eat too, don't worry about me. Naruto's expression was somewhat unnatural, as if he was a child in this behavior. Upon realizing this, Seiko smiled awkwardly and then sat down without saying a word to start eating. After a moment, Saki spoke up and said, "You can come with me to the ninjutsu room to find it later." "Hey." Naruto looked at Sasako with a silly expression and said, "I'm not from the Uchiha clan, can I?" I am now the head of the Yuzhibo clan, so I am the final say of everything of the Yuzhibo clan." "Okay then." "Undoubtedly, she is a wealthy woman of the Uchiha clan. She speaks so forcefully, and she likes it. However, there is only half a month left until graduation. If it is the same as the original work, Saki should have started writing Will Eyes, but she herself is not aware of it yet, so she cannot proficiently use it. Do you think you can find a way to stimulate her?" Let's talk about it another day." At the same time, at the entrance of the Uchiha clan village, several members from the roots had already appeared. They remained silent, and their target was the residence of Uchiha Sasako, the only survivor of the Uchiha clan. Several dark departments appeared in front of the base, and the captain of the dark department spoke up, "What do you mean?" "Lord Tuanzang has an order that we need to monitor Uchiha Sasako. But the order I received was to ensure their safety on the periphery." The leader of the dark team squinted his eyes and said, "And Lord Hokage has already ordered you to retreat." This is what Lord Hokage sent someone to tell him, and he also said that if he finds people at the route, he must stop them. "We only obey the orders of Lord Tuanzang. Even Lord Tuanzang needs to obey Lord Hokage's orders." The captain of the dark department felt a hint of anger in his heart. These basic ninjas who only know how to execute orders were really troublesome. Although Lord Tuanzang is the assistant of Huiying, they don't know that Huiying is the largest talent in the village. Unfortunately, the root ninja did not shake him, but instead changed direction and continued to move forward. "You're forcing us to take action." The captain of the dark department immediately pulled out his weapon. "Are these guys so ignorant? Lord Tuanzang is the same. Do you insist on adding obstacles to Lord Huiying? Now Joe Julie is with that little ghost from the Uchiha clan. What if Joe Julie is stimulated and goes berserk? Nowadays, the leaves of wood cannot resist being tossed and turned. You can give it a try." The root ninja didn't compare much and immediately drew out their weapon to prepare for battle. Just as both sides were at a loss, a rather lazy voice appeared in the ears of a few people. "Well, don't be so excited, everyone." Qimu Kakashi glanced at the people on both sides with a relaxed expression and said, "Anyway, we still need to prioritize the orders of Lord Huiying. Otherwise, even Lord Tuanzang can't afford anything that happens." The person at the base hesitated as he listened to Qimu Kakashi's words. Not only because of the other person's words, but also because of their appearance. They are very aware of the strength of Qimu Kakashi, and if they take action here, they are afraid that all of them will have to be defeated here. And since Qimu Kakashi has already appeared, it proves that Huiying's patience has reached its limit. Thinking of this, the leader's root waved his hand and said, "Withdraw." Watching the departing root ninja, the leader of the shadow squad breathed a sigh of relief and then looked at the flag with Kakashi, saying, "Senior Kakashi, thank you." Chapter 6. Chakra Test Paper. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing this, Qimu Kakashi waved his hand and said, "You're welcome, we're all subordinates of Lord Hokage." The leader of the dark department nodded at the words and then said, "But as a matter of routine, I have to ask why Senior Kakashi appeared here. I just heard that Naruto followed Uchiha Sasako back to the Uchiha clan's territory, so I plan to come and take a look. After all, this is his teacher's disciple. Although he was ordered not to approach, he can still observe carefully from a distance." The captain of the dark department's eyes flickered upon hearing this, and then said, "Senior, do you know these two people?" Listening to his words, Qimu Kakashi fell silent for a moment. There are many people in the village who know about him as a fourth-generation disciple. But people who know that Naruto is the fourth-generation son, Weihu and Weiwei. Thinking of this, Qimu Kakashi nodded and said, "There is some connection. Although that's the case, Lord Hokage has orders that other ninjas are not allowed to approach these two people. I know. Qimu Kakashi sighed. He had just arrived near here by a stroke of luck. Since he couldn't enter, let's leave. As they watched Qimu Kakashi disappear in place, the few of them exchanged glances at each other, all not quite understanding what Qimu Kakashi meant. Don't worry about these things, we just need to follow the orders. The captain of the dark department waved his hand and the group quickly disappeared into place. On the other hand, the root ninja quickly returned to the front of Shimura Tanzo. Lord Tuanzang, we are unable to enter the Uchiha clan territory. Speak carefully. Not only were there people in the dark blocking us, but we also encountered Qimu Kakashi just now. Qimu Kakashi. Tuanzang squinted his eyes upon hearing this. Why did that guy appear there? Is it to see the little ghost of Jiuwei Zhuli? Ah, it's a pity that the hypocritical guy from Rizhan won't let you get close to him. After all, what that guy always wanted to do was to put him first in the heart of nine-tailed Zhuli. Master Tuanzang, do you need to secretly infiltrate? Forget it. Jitsuan Tuanzang waved his hand and said, you guys go down. Sending people over is just a matter of habit. Since Rigian does not allow them to intervene in this matter, then they will not intervene. Anyway, the current Uchiha clan no longer has much value. Moreover, he cannot move the little girl Yuji Bazoko in the movie, otherwise if Yuji Bazoko retaliates against Mai, he cannot afford it. Although he doesn't care about some people being killed in the village, he cares about this village. After all, he is the Hokage of the future. As for the nine-tailed pillar force, if you want to get into trouble, you have to wait for him after graduation. It's not suitable for him to take any action now. Does that guy from Rigian think he has everything under his control? Humph, sooner or later the position of Huiying is his. Is this all the treasures of your Uchiha clan? Naruto, standing in the storage room, twitched his lips. Isn't this quantity too small? Isn't Yuzhibo from the wealthy family of Kiba? Can it be that on the night of the extermination, all the things here were moved away by the wooden leaves? The possibility is not low. There's no way, this is the only thing left in our family, Swezi sighed and said, it's probably destroyed by that bastard Yuzhibo Itachi. Either it was destroyed or taken away, otherwise why is there only so little left of the thing? Upon hearing this, Naruto glanced at Satoko and thought to himself, this guy still doesn't know the truth. Even if we guess, we should be able to make some guesses. As expected, we are still children. In that case, let's not tell her the truth for now. Otherwise, if she shows hostility towards Kiba, I'm afraid third Hokage won't tolerate her existence. Sawako saw Naruto looking at him with strange eyes, so he explained. Although there isn't much left in ninjutsu, there's still quite a bit of money. Money is not particularly important to ninjas, so the village did not take it all away, and most of the industry was still left to Uchiha Sasako. There are already quite a few of these. Naruto shook his head and said, I haven't seen a ninjutsu scroll yet. This is the truth. With his original standard of living, it would be great if he could afford to buy a ninjutsu scroll. Is that what he can get? Moreover, the third-generation Hokage will not allow him to grow up so early, which is not conducive to the opponent's control over the human pillar power. That's right. Swezi nodded and immediately took out the scroll beside him like a treasure offering, saying, don't you like body art? This is a body art collected by our Uchiha clan, even if you don't have a Sharingan to practice. Although she cannot reach the level of their Uchiha clan, in the future, she will find that bastard Uchiha Itachi. Then take off that bastard's eyeballs and replace them for Naruto. Don't you have the eyes of the Uchiha clan? Uchiha ninja technique. Naruto nodded and smiled as he looked at the information on the scroll, thank you. Then he took a glance at the introduction and roughly understood the meaning. However, the difficulty lies in the need for keen observation, which is truly a unique skill of the Uchiha clan. However, as a traveler, his innate spiritual power is stronger than other people's, and his perceptual ability is also very strong, so this physical skill is not impossible to cultivate. Dang 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 dang. Swazi took out a piece of paper from his pocket and said, "And this one? What is this?" "Chakra test paper," Sato said, taking Naruto's hand and placing it in his hand. "Didn't you already extract the chakra? Enter the chakra and you'll know what kind of attribute you have. Oh, by the way, most people have 5 attributes. Wind, fire, thunder, earth, and water. Teacher Irika once said that, you should still remember." "Well, I remember." Naruto nodded, knowing that this kind of thing was familiar to him. He was the wind familiar chakra, extremely sharp. "Then let's give it a try." Saki looked at Naruto with an expectant expression, looking forward to what kind of attributes his chakra had. Chapter 7. The feeling of eating soft rice is really delicious. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Looking at Satoko's expectant expression, Naruto didn't hesitate to input his chakra. Quickly, the chakra test strip was cut open from the middle. Wind attribute. Swazi nodded, with a hint of joy in his eyes. She knows that wind can fuel a fire, and she really gets along well with Naruto. Naruto also showed such a look that he knew he was a fan. However, in the next moment, the changes on the chakra test paper made them dumbfounded. After the two halves of the test paper were separated, one side became completely wet, while the other half was burned. This also proves that Naruto not only possesses wind attributes, but also chakras with fire and water attributes. This scene is not only dumbfounded by Seiko, but also dumbfounded by Naruto. What's going on? Naruto's heart is filled with question marks. Shouldn't he only have the chakra attribute of wind? Is it because I am a traveler that I have 2 additional attributes? However, this is a good thing, and it is also uncertain whether one can develop a blood successor and eliminate it themselves. 3 attributes. Swazi pondered, not only can wind fuel her fire, but even water can stimulate her lightning escape even more fiercely. As for the fire attribute, they can release even more powerful fire escape with her, and they really get along well. Since you have these 3 attributes, let's learn C-level ninjutsu first. After saying that, Satoko rushed into the place where the ninjutsu scroll was placed and dug out 3 C-level ninjutsus. They are: Wind Escape, Wind Cutting Technique, Water Escape, Water Formation Wall, Fire Escape. The art of Heio-Wokyu. The first 2 Uchiha clans were captured during their participation in the Ninja World War, while Fire Escape is a unique ninjutsu technique of the Uchiha clan. Looking at the 3 scrolls handed to him by the other party, Naruto's mood was very complicated. The other party is indeed too kind to him, and as the soul of an adult, he is very clear about what the other party means. In that case, I really can't let down her kindness. And I do need ninjutsu now to improve my strength. After his strength is sufficient, he will go talk to the 9 lamas. If he can reach a cooperative relationship with the 9 lamas in advance, his strength will be even stronger. With this in mind, Naruto took the scroll and said, "Don't worry, when you go for revenge, I will go with you." "I know." Swazi smiled at the corner of his mouth, as the other party had said a long time ago. But at that time, he probably didn't know what revenge meant, but now it's different. They are about to graduate and become adults. Let's go. Let me first teach you the application method and experience of the Heio-Wokyu technique. Okay. The 2 of them arrived at the backyard and began practicing the technique of the giant fireball by the pond. Unfortunately, due to the presence of the 9 tails in Naruto's body, the use of chakra is not very smooth, so it took an hour of communication to learn. This gives Naruto a headache. Does he have to be influenced by that stinky fox? It's okay, I also learned it after studying for a whole day back then, Swazi comforted. Take it slow, it's me. With her talent here, even if Naruto is a clumsy bird, she can still make him fly. Listening to Satoko's comforting words, Naruto nodded. But in my heart, I was thinking, I think I'll find a chance to chat with that stinky fox. That guy always affects his use of chakras, but it's not good. Otherwise, let alone developing ninjutsu that changes the properties of chakras, even ordinary spells cannot be used well. However, why does the speed of developing spells increase after learning Shadow Clone? The quality is not enough, can we make up for the quantity? It's not impossible either. With this in mind, Naruto's expectations for the sealed scroll have once again become urgent. Just come in here and go to bed first. Okay. The next morning, Seiko got up very early and started making breakfast. After finishing, he called out Naruto. Naruto, get up and have breakfast. Ah. Naruto, who had just opened his eyes, was still a bit confused and thought to himself, what's for breakfast, milk? He thought he was going to drink those expired milk again before he woke up. After drinking that, he might have diarrhea. What are you doing? Sasako, wearing an apron and pinching her waist, said angrily. Hurry up and have breakfast. We still have to go to class later. If you go late, Teacher Irika will nag you again. Seiko still has a good impression of Irika as a teacher because he is one of the few adults who is willing to be kind to Naruto, so she doesn't want Irika to be in a difficult situation. Naruto, who had regained his senses, realized that he was no longer at home. Now he also has who's the girlfriend. Well, to be precise, he seems to be the one who was taken care of by a little rich woman, and this rich woman is still the kind who can go up and down the hall and down the kitchen, capable of literature, martial arts, and possessing unique skills. This soft rice tastes really delicious. Watching Naruto staring straight at him, Seiko's little face suddenly turned a little red. What are you looking at? Hurry up and wash your face and eat. Okay, let's go now. Naruto chuckled foolishly and then walked towards the restroom, stuttering and stuttering. After happily washing myself clean, I arrived at the restaurant. At this point, Seiko has already placed today's breakfast on the table. To be honest, I didn't expect you to eat so well. Swizzy pointed to the breakfast on the table and said, I realized that you had a big appetite for yesterday's meal, so I made more today. Thank you very much, Naruto nodded gratefully. He didn't know why, but his appetite was noticeably much larger than before. Is it because of the constitution of the Vortex clan? Why are you polite to me? Saki glanced at Naruto and then sat down and said, let's eat. Picking up the food on the table, Saki took a small bite and started eating it. On the other hand, Naruto was quite wild, eating something in his mouth and saying, I'll let you try the dishes I made another day. Sasako did not dislike Naruto's appearance, but instead felt that this was the feeling of home. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Chapter 8. Fake 3 Generations of Hokage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the following days, Naruto will continue to attend school as usual, and during this period, he will also learn 3 ninjutsu techniques. Although it's inevitable to be nagged during this process. Classmates, tomorrow is your graduation exam time. Irika on the podium looked at the students below with a smile on her face and said, go back tonight and review well, got it, Teacher Irika. Teacher Irika is so verbose, isn't it just a small exam? Isn't it a piece of cake for me, destined to become the Hokage? That's it. Listening to the students, Irika's eyes flashed with a hint of helplessness, but he didn't say anything. It's good for everyone to have confidence. I just don't know when the next meeting will be. Soon, the bell rang for the end of school, and most of the students rushed to the door to welcome the parents. Naruto stands still, staring at the distance in a daze, his thoughts flying far away. Swizzy did not urge upon seeing the situation, but instead chose to wait for the other party. Hinata, who was not far away, wanted to come forward and say something, but unfortunately, she was taken away by Hinata, who came here to pick her up. Why, aren't you guys going home? Irika leaned over to the two of them and smiled, are you reluctant to leave school? That's not it. Naruto pursed his lips and said, I'm just thinking about tomorrow's exam. Teacher Iruka didn't leave either, did he? Sasako also smiled. I'm a teacher. Iruka reached out and rubbed Naruto's head. He knew about the two little ones living together now and didn't say anything against them. In his opinion, Satoko's willingness to take care of Naruto is actually a good thing. Well, tomorrow is the graduation exam, and today the teacher will treat you to ramen noodles. Good. Naruto's eyes brightened. He had never been to Datong Mayao ramen noodles since he crossed the world. I don't know if that guy's craftsmanship is as delicious as legendary. And when Seiko, who was about to refuse, saw Naruto's high interest and gave up the idea of rejection, he said, Thank you very much, Teacher Iruka. What are you polite to me? Iruka waved his hand and treated Naruto like a younger brother. Now that Seiko is taking care of Naruto like this, it's okay to invite her along. What if the other party becomes his younger brother's wife in the future? Speaking of which, is the Uchiha clan very wealthy? Let's go. Let's go and eat ramen noodles. The three of them ran shoulder to shoulder towards the entrance of the ninja school, with their shadows drawn very long. At that moment, Qimu appeared by the window, looking coldly at the three of them as they left and saying, Nine-tailed Julie, the orphan of the Uchiha clan. Oh, it's such an interesting combination. I believe Lord Orochimaru will definitely be interested in such a combination. Especially the little ghost from the Uchiha clan. If I could take her with me, it would be a great achievement. Thinking of this, Shuemu's mind became active. Naruto's ninjutsu level is very poor, and tomorrow's graduation exam is likely to not pass. Mizuki rubbed his chin and pondered. Although it was just the simplest three-body art exam, as one of the teachers, he was very clear about Naruto's level. That little ghost, let alone his clone technique, couldn't even fully unleash his transformation technique. Most of the time, the people he transformed into were strange and even reduced in shape. In this way, my operating space will be much larger. Shuemu felt that he had to bring great benefits to Lord Orochimaru when he left Kiba. Otherwise, what if the other party kicked him out? After all, I am a nail set by the other party on the wooden leaf. However, recently he has always felt like someone is staring at him, so he suspects that he may have been exposed, so he must be prepared in advance. With this in mind, Shuemu showed a sinister smile and said, Let me have you get the sealed book for me. I believe Lord Orochimaru will be very interested. However, what he didn't know was that there was a dark side staring at him intently and listening to everything he said. Is that so? After listening to all the reports from the Dark Department, the expression of the third-generation Hokage became somewhat uncertain. At first, he was very curious about what person was behind this water tree, so he didn't immediately pull it out, but instead looked at the situation before making a decision. After all, sometimes a spy under their nose can have a very significant impact. For example, sending incorrect information. Do you need to catch him now? The dark side looked up at the third Hokage and said, Otherwise, he might be detrimental to the human pillar's strength. Mai can no longer bear the rampage of 9 tails. Now there is only the third-generation Hokage, a powerful figure at the shadow level, in Kiba. Once the third-generation Hokage stops 9 tails from sacrificing, so what Mai needs to face is a catastrophic disaster. Other ninja villages will never miss such a good opportunity. Let's not take action for now. Sandai Huiying pondered for a moment and said, Let's wait and see before we take action to kill the water and wood if necessary. But don't stop Shuemu either, let's see if he has any other accomplices. Just ensure the safety of the human pillar force. Since Shuemu wants Naruto to pick up the seal book, let Naruto pick it up. Consider it as compensation for his debts over the years. As for how much Naruto can learn, it is his own creation. Yes, the dark side nodded and immediately disappeared into place. Although he didn't know if Lord Hokage had any deeper thoughts, as a ninja, he just needed to follow orders. After watching the other party leave, the third Hokage used a crystal ball to bring up Naruto's image. At this time, 3 people were sitting in the noodle shop of Yao Ramen Noodles, waiting for food to be served. Sorry, Watergate, this is all for the village. If you owe anything, just wait for him to come down and apologize at the parent-child and Watergate. But at least for now, he doesn't allow the human pillar force to exceed control. Chapter 9. Sooner or later, become the existence they look up to. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Gentlemen, please take your time. With a smile on his face, he brought 3 bowls of ramen noodles to the 3 people, then smiled at Aluka and said, "You haven't brought Naruto here for a long time. Isn't this quite busy?" Iruka smiled awkwardly, which was quite true. As a teacher, he has a lot of things to deal with every day. So even if you take Naruto out to eat ramen noodles, you don't have time every day. Nodding in understanding, he then said, "Speaking of Naruto, are you guys about to graduate?" "Yes, we're going to have our graduation exam tomorrow." Naruto gave a thumbs up and said, "I'll soon become a ninja." "Is that right?" Uncle Handbeater smiled and said, "Then I'll treat you to dinner today. Congratulations in advance on your graduation." "I'm so sorry about that." Iruka felt a bit embarrassed and agreed that he would come to treat him today. "It's okay, Naruto was also a kid I watched grow up with, wasn't it?" "Really, thank you very much, uncle." Naruto smiled happily upon hearing this, while also feeling warm in his heart. Having accepted his original memory, he was very clear that the other party was one of the few who was willing to accept him and also willing to sell his food, so he still respected them very much. Upon hearing this, Zuzi politely thanked his uncle. He waved his hand and said, "If that's the case, it's just a meal. Is this little girl from the Uchiha clan the girlfriend of Naruto?" "It looks quite similar." "Alright, you guys eat, I have to deal with some ingredients," he said as he turned around and returned to the house. It was only evening now, which was the peak of his business. Perhaps it won't be long before more diners come. He hasn't finished some things yet, so he needs to hurry up and get them done. It seems that the business here is good. Zuzi looked at the shop, and although it was a bit smaller, he had everything he needed, and the taste was also quite good. "That's natural, the taste of this restaurant is still very good," Iruka said after taking the conversation. "There are many people coming here to eat every day. Many of them are single office workers like him who are too lazy to go home and cook after work, so they just need to solve it outside. Of course, the most important thing is that the price of this store is very affordable, and the taste is very good. That's why it attracts a large number of people to come here to eat." Zuzi nodded, and after taking a bite, his eyes lit up. The taste of this thing was indeed good. "No wonder you said that ramen noodles is your favorite food." Satsuko took a look at Naruto, who said on his first day of school that ramen noodles is his favorite food. Naruto only smiled foolishly upon hearing these words, but his heart was somewhat depressed. If the money is enough, who will regard ramen noodles as their favorite luxury food? Iruka saw something and let out a faint sigh in her heart. But in terms of his financial resources, it is the maximum limit to invite Naruto to have a meal of ramen noodles every now and then to improve his food. Eating barbecue or something is not something he can afford. Although his position is as a teacher at a ninja school, his risk level is the lowest, so his compensation is not particularly high. So he hasn't saved much money these years either. However, Naruto will continue to endure and can eat whatever he wants when he has money. Thinking of this, Iruka, who swallowed ramen noodles in his mouth, began. "Naruto, you have no problem with the 3-body technique." Sasako's eyes flickered as he told them that tomorrow's graduation exam was for the 3-body technique. Is this considered cheating for them? Although most of the time, graduation assessments test the 3-body technique, there are times when special things are added. However, since it is a 3-body technique, the difficulty level is much lower. No problem with nature. Naruto said with a thumbs up. Of course he has no problem. Tomorrow is not only the graduation assessment, but also the day he receives the sealed book. This newbie benefit is not always available, so he must seize this opportunity. Strive to learn more ninjutsu. Of course, the technique of shadow clone must be learned. As for the rest, let's take a look and see. Really? Iruka looked at Naruto with a skeptical gaze. This kid's previous ninjutsu level was a mess. How could he answer so confidently today? Is it an enlightenment? Is it Swazi who recently opened a small stove for him? Thinking of this, Iruka turned his gaze to Zako. Since Naruto said that, Teacher Iruka, don't worry, Satoko said elegantly after wiping his mouth. And tonight, I will also assess him. She doesn't want Naruto, this idiot, to graduate and repeat a grade, otherwise she won't have the chance to form a team. How will I protect this fool then? Revenge is important, but Naruto, this fool, is also important. That's good. Upon hearing this, Iruka immediately felt relieved and had great confidence in Sasako. This is the most powerful student in his class, not only in the three-body technique, but also in some C-level ninjutsu. She has learned it and is a genius among geniuses. Having such a genius to help Naruto, learning the three-body technique should not be difficult. Humph, you can't believe me. Naruto glanced at Iruka with displeasure. Doesn't this guy know he needs to maintain a boy's face when he's by a girl's side? What do you usually look like? Don't you have any points in your mind? Iruka angrily glanced at Naruto. Surprisingly, this kid still thinks there's something wrong with what he said. Cough cough, isn't that the past? Naruto awkwardly coughed, but unconsciously remembered the scene when the graffiti on the Hokage statue was wiped off by Iruka's supervisor. At that time, it seemed like I was a bit out of tune, but there's no way, my predecessor did it just to catch the attention of others. After all, in his opinion, even being scolded by others is much better than being ignored. But now it's different. I don't need to do that kind of thing to attract others anymore. After all, he doesn't care about the opinions of that group of people. Chapter 10. Your performance last night was good. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Do you really like Yao-Lamian noodles? Swazi sent out a soul torture at the first time when he returned home. Is it really because he can't afford anything else? How to say? Naruto deliberated and said, Lamian noodles really tastes the best in my memory. As for the reason, you know, people in the village hate me, and they can't sell me anything else to eat. And I don't have enough money to buy more luxurious things. I can only afford this kind of Lamian noodles. Fortunately, the hand-hitting uncle didn't dislike me. If he dislikes him even by hitting him, he can't even suspect that his predecessor will turn black. Even with the presence of Iruka. Upon hearing this, a hint of heartache flashed in Satoko's eyes. As soon as she thought about Naruto's past experiences, she felt a wave of heartache. Don't worry, you won't have such troubles in the future. When going out to buy things in the future, leave it all to her. As for Naruto, just focus on practicing with peace of mind. Of course, she wouldn't drag down her cultivation either. Alright, let me take a look at your level of three-body technique. Sasako changed the topic and said, tomorrow is the graduation exam. Don't disappoint Teacher Iruka. The other party violated their principles by disclosing information, so they cannot let down this big brother. Of course, the most important thing is to let Naruto, this guy, pass the graduation exam. No need, Naruto looked away, feeling meaningless. Although he has fully mastered the three-body technique now, he will still intentionally not be able to do it tomorrow. Because he wants to get the sealed book. Don't talk nonsense, otherwise there won't be breakfast tomorrow. I know. Naruto could only compromise upon hearing this. Forget it, just treat this girl as a coax. Subsequently, under the supervision of the other party, I used all 3 body techniques once. However, when using the transformation technique, he deliberately became so inferior, which made Satoko somewhat dissatisfied. He pulled Naruto and began to contact him, with a posture of staying up late to improve Naruto's skills. In the end, Naruto had no choice but to release the complete transformation spell, which allowed Sato to let him go. At this point, all the students in the advanced elite class have arrived in the classroom of the ninja campus. Speaking of it, it's a bit nervous, said Sakura sitting next to Ino with some emotion. I'm about to leave campus and become a ninja, and I don't know if the task is difficult. However, the shadow in her heart was roaring, I will soon become a ninja. I must find a handsome guy to get married. At the beginning, it wasn't a dangerous task. Inoue is still a member of the big family and is very clear about this kind of thing. And what she wants more than carrying out dangerous tasks is to be able to spend her whole life with a handsome guy. As for strength and so on, she is not the first one here. Undoubtedly, they are both good friends with the same ideas. You're okay, right? Saki glanced at Naruto lying on the table and said, although you did a good job last night, don't fall off the chain later. No, Naruto waved his hand without lifting his head, indicating that he knew everything in his heart. Meanwhile, Hinata, who was not far away, blushed and silently thought to herself, what are they talking about? How do you feel like you're saying something strange? At that moment, Irika walked in with a roster, glanced at everyone, and then smiled, we're all here, that's great. So let's start, and those who hand in their names will come out later. Passerby A. Arrive. The boy named Passerby stood up and said to his companions, I will definitely pass the exam and become a ninja. Just wait and see. Humph, I'm the same. Let's go. Irika nodded at the boy who came to him and then left with him. Afterwards, there is no need for him to notify, just have someone call other classmates over. With Irika's departure, the classroom resumed its liveliness once again. Becoming a ninja is too easy for me, said Yo with a proud expression on his face. Wait, I will definitely become Hokage. Humph, it must be me who became the Hokage. Do you want to fight? Wow. Come on, who's afraid of who? Be honest, everyone. Swizzy said, today is the graduation exam. If it gets the teacher upset. Although she didn't say it explicitly, others also understood her meaning. After all, teachers are human beings, and they have the final say after graduation. It would be bad if they were wearing small shoes. In addition, this sentence was spoken by the first person in the class, so both Ya and the other person chose to keep their mouths shut. However, Ya muttered softly, I don't have the same understanding as girls. Upon hearing this, Swizzy calmly glanced at him and then withdrew his gaze. Such words were neither painful nor meaningful to her. Then he looked at his good friend and gestured for him to come and sit down. Me. Hinata pointed to herself, then shyly glanced at Naruto. That's right. Swizzy nodded, who else could it be if it weren't for her? Hinata saw this and didn't say anything. He stood up carefully and came to Sasako's side, wanting to sit on her other side, but unfortunately, there was no seat on the other side. In that case, she could only sit next to Naruto, and because of this, she was immediately shy and didn't know what to do. Move the place. Saki nodded Naruto's arm, gesturing for him to move aside. Can't you see him chatting with his best friend? Oh. Naruto stood up and nodded friendly to Hinata, then stood aside to continue pondering his plan. Blocking the conversation between the two girls around him, Naruto silently imagined various possibilities in his heart. Firstly, the 3 generations of Hokage will not obstruct themselves, as can be seen from the original work. After all, it is a sealed book, how could it be without a secret guard? So there is a high probability that the 3rd generation Hokage gave the green light. So, all he needs to do is follow what Shuemu said to go to the location of the sealed book.